Injuries have dominated the early story about the San Francisco 49ers, obviously starting with Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and then just this week, we had two players carted off the field of practice. So injuries have been something that have really kind of defined a part of the early story of the San Francisco 49ers in 2024. So it is helpful when you have John Lynch come on to the radio on KMBR and kind of provide some updates about some of these injuries. And while some are positive and sounds like optimistic, others maybe not so much. So let's take a listen as John Lynch talks about the injury to Jordan Elliott, the injury to Curtis Robinson that happened yesterday's practice, his outlook for Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey and Ricky Pearsall, all those different things. It does sound like George Kittle is trending towards playing this week, which is a good sign. But take a listen as John Lynch breaks down the rest of the injuries for the San Francisco 49ers.
Can you tell us about two players being carted off yesterday, starting with Jordan Elliott, the D tackle, who I think was going to step up for Javon Hargrave? What happened?
Yeah, he stepped on someone's foot in I think the last period of practice. Kind of rolled his ankle. We feel like we got some positive news on him. That probably wasn't a typical cart situation. Where it was more to them just wanting them to get him inside, and so we'll see. Call him questionable, I guess. For I don't know what our official, but a lot of it will be based on how he feels today. I think long term we feel good about it. Curtis, I think we're a little worried, and that didn't look good, non-contact deal. And Curtis had worked his tail off, really a good contributor for us. So we'll see where that goes. But the early signs weren't good, I can tell you that.
Yeah, and John, last Friday we talked to you about those Saturday roster moves that you make. So is the plan to place Javon Hargrave on the IR tomorrow? And then do you guys have a plan for what defensive lineman you are going to activate off the practice squad?
Yeah, we want to, we kind of want to keep the Patriots guessing. But yeah, Hargrave to IR, will likely happen this week, and then we'll figure it out from there.
Big story, of course, is McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey going to Germany. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got an opinion on German medicine. Everybody's got an opinion on American medicine. But you can tell us what the facts of the case are. Why did he go over there? Did it accomplish anything? And is his status improving or the same?
Well, I think the bottom line, we kind of, once we put him to injured reserve, I think that was to kind of force a discipline for everyone that, when you have tendonitis, that basically is inflammation. And, it was flared up, bilateral Achilles tendonitis, and so we needed to quiet it down. So the plan was to give it the time to do that, and then at some point in a thoughtful way to ramp him back up. So what he does early and where he goes, he's got people who work on his body and have for a long time. We work and consult with him on that, and now Christian's back here, and at some point we'll get back. We'll have to hit certain markers, and we'll try the ramp up, and God willing, the thing has quieted down, and we can build him back up in a really smart and thoughtful way. Christian, we gotta be really cognizant. Of course, we want him back. He's a game changer for us, but we want him back healthy, and so we'll take the necessary time for that. How much it takes, I don't think anyone knows right now, and we'll start that process. Kind of reconvene now that he's back and see where he's at, and we'll get a plan together. That plan's been in the process of being made, but we'll put that plan to action, and we'll update you when need be on how he's doing. But right now we kind of, hopefully we've quieted the thing down enough, and now we can start the process of building him back up.
Was this trip to Germany to see a specialist something that was suggested by the team, or a decision made personally by Christian McCaffrey?
I think collaboratively, I think Christian knew of someone there. He does a ton of research. Christian he works as hard as anyone that I know. And I think obviously, he reaches out to us and we blessed it. And, we'll leave it at that.
Is Deebo ready to cede the glory to this guy, Ja'Wuan Jennings, who had a game of his life on Sunday?
Well, I think the thing that I'd say there in terms of seeding the glory, I think everyone could take their turn. There's enough balls to go around. There's enough blocks to be made. That was our plan going in. We wanted to be really strong, so much so that we took a receiver in the first round. Obviously, as you can see by the market of receivers, it's an area people are paying a lot of attention. They can change the game. We really like our group of receivers on this team. When we have these injuries, there's timelines based upon scans and MRIs and data that we've collected over long periods of times. That probably has changed from when I played. They give a timeline, and it probably errs on the side of caution because the data tells you if you bring them back too soon, you run the risk of them being hurt more, more severe injuries. So, but they're just that, they're timelines. And so Deebo, the one thing, and I've told you guys this before, the best athletes seem to heal at a little better rate. And, but we have really objective testing and markers that they have to hit. And, the reason he's on the field is because he hit all these markers and he felt good enough to be out there. We'll see. Thursday's a heavy workload for us. So we'll see how he responds today, how he feels today. If he's ready, if he's hit all the markers, that'd be a really nice surprise to have him back. But I think that is to be determined here. Today will be a big day in that process. And as for Juwan, he was fantastic. Juwan he's a really good football player. We've known that for a while. This league is made of guys who, when their number's called for whatever reason, somebody's hurt, a couple guys are hurt, they get their opportunity, and he simply got his opportunity just to be out there almost every snap. And man, did he make the most of it. I think it was 11 receptions on 12 targets and some incredible catches. He plays with so much will. He's a really inspirational player for our team.
So do you have any updates for us on Ricky, whether it's physically, mentally, or even just physically or mentally, any updates on Ricky Pearsall?
Yeah, so these IR rules, he was non-football injury, which kind of falls under the same rules as short-term IR. So after this game, we can open his practice window. All signs are indicating that, he'll be okay to do that. So we'll see. We'll kind of judge him throughout this weekend. He'll have some more markers to hit. But getting him back in practice would be a big deal. And then you've got a couple of weeks to work with where you can activate him or just leave him practicing. So I think we can kind of assess that as it comes. But Ricky's doing really well. He's put in the work. He's very eager to get back out there, but it's our job to make sure he's ready when he gets back. And but he'll be a great addition. We drafted him for a reason. We're really excited about possibly getting him back sometime in the near future, and he's trending in a really good direction.
Obviously, this is the worst part of a football season is when players go down. Now, we get it. You're going to make mistakes. You're maybe not going to, win every single game. But one of the things that, you want is to be as healthy as possible. And the 49ers, for the most part, were pretty healthy last year. They did lose Talanoa Hufanga for the year. There's a couple other injuries sprinkled in, but for the most part, they were able to stay relatively healthy. This year, it's been a much different story. They have been hurt early and often. And obviously, when you hear about Deebo Samuel, it does sound like, John Lynch is cautiously optimistic. I wasn't expecting Deebo Samuel to return to practice. He's saying that today, Friday, will be a big indication of where Deebo Samuel is and if he will be able to play. So that's a good sign. And so he's trending in the right direction. George Kittle's trending in the right direction. But obviously, the two injuries yesterday, the non-contact to Curtis Robinson, which does not sound optimistic. I'm speculating at this point, but when you hear non-contact, and I believe it's a knee, typically ACLs are involved. But again, that's just me speculating, but it doesn't sound good and likely does sound like a season ender when you hear John Lynch talk about it. But when you hear him speak about Jordan Elliott, a little bit different of a tone, and I do believe that tone speaks to the fact that he rolled his ankle and it wasn't a typical karting situation where they just wanted to get him off the field and again didn't have to walk under his own power. So it sounds a little bit more optimistic, but we still don't know what the status is for Elliott in this game against the Patriots. So that's going to be something that's we monitor very, very largely because of Javon Hargrave and that particular injury. So we got to monitor that. And then, of course, the storm that was created by this article that was put out by Eric Branch of the SF Chronicle, which was an interview of a specialist in the field speculating on, why CMC went to Germany and what it means. And then everyone took that as if it was like an official report of this is what CMC learned while in Germany when there's no correlation at all. But it does sound like the 49ers have a plan for CMC. They are, again, wanting him to calm down that ACL. We saw the videos throughout practice before he was placed on IR, just not looking right. So the hope is that it's just reducing the inflammation, giving him the time and rest he needs, and then starting to ramp him up in a couple weeks. So the early reports of he's out for months, that was a little bit premature. So we still got to see. I mean, it's still a range of outcome. It's still a possibility, but it was presented as this is the case, and that isn't the case. So we have to wait and see regarding CMC. So something to keep in mind. And it sounds like Ricky Pearsall is also on track to play when he is eligible to come off the IR list. So we got some bad news in there. We got some good news sprinkled in, and we got some clarification as well. Injuries always the worst part of the season, but let me know what you guys think about all this. Do you think Deebo Samuel is going to play? What do you think the status of CMC really is? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.